with us? Mimi, the music blogger. And guess what she does? Well, it's all in the name, isn't it? Mimi is a music blogger. She talks about new music that's coming out. And she also talks about music that's coming from all around the world. She talks about the artist. She talks about the music, the video. And it sounds like a fun job. So Mimi, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your early start, where you were born and bred, schooling, and what kind of careers or education were you doing before you got into music blogging?
Okay, should we start from the beginning? Well, I was born and raised at Edmonton, North London. Yeah, the typical, I don't want to make it the typical sad story of the ghetto or living in the suburban. I feel like with me, because I was born in Edmonton, but I went to a primary school, which was like a Roman Catholic. So I had a mixture of Irish, white, like it was a little range, I would say. Then I went to secondary school in Hackney, Our Ladies, in Stamford Hill. And that's basically an area full of like Jewish people as well. So it's just like, I kind of had like a diverse type of upbringing. Like I kind of understand different types of cultures, if you want to say.
Was that another Catholic school, Our Ladies?
Yeah, a convent school, yeah.
So your family was strongly Catholic then, I presume?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it's kind of weird because everyone's thinking, oh, really? I said, yeah. Literally, remember my first Holy Communion, first confirmation, literally, boom, boom, boom. Then from that, I would say I was always good at maths. I love numbers, literally.
Every time I put up my hand, that means I identify with you. I was born in Edmonton, and I'm also good at maths.
No!
Yes! Amazing! No. North Middlesex Hospital, right? That's where I came out.
Oh my God, okay, yeah. I hated English.
Oh, really?
Oh, ask my parents. What? That was my least favorite subject ever. Like, numbers was more of like, okay, there's only one right answer. You can never go wrong. Like, very much simple, straight to the point. So, I say that uni stage of doing your UCAS and trying to find out what course you want to study, I always wanted to be doing something within finance or economics. Like that was my go-to. I see myself being a businesswoman or working in a bank and just that's it. But my relationship with music has always been there. I feel like my dad played a big role with that, especially I was very close with my dad. Like when we used to take walks or drives, music, every single music I was introduced from rap, R&B, my home, like I'm from Congo, so my culture side, like he basically put the radio on, or back in the days when we used to have CDs, everything, like he put my first CD, which was Usher as well. So it's always been like music, love music, but I don't know where I can see myself because obviously being brought up, school, job, married, boom. So I'm thinking, yeah, like it's a hobby, like nothing too serious. So I went to uni, nothing really, just studying. Then second year, I lost my grandma. Then it was kind of like a big shock, like, whoop, okay.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? That song was very much of a blur. Like till now, it was only in 2017. So it was very much of a blur, but I always feel like, okay, how can I kind of express myself? And if you know me, back in the days, I used to talk about music 24/7. Behind, like, at the back of the class, what's going on? Everyone's talking about music. Literally, I was chatting non-stop. Like, with my music teacher in secondary school, I used to talk to him, okay, this was because he never used to know what's going on. Well, like Beyonce, he was very much of a classical type of guy. I used to be like, okay, this is going on, Lady Gaga. He's like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out. So, because I always had that as a safety net, then with that big shock with my grandma passing away, I think, let me just distract myself and start writing. Then that's where the whole blogs started to come about. And so funny enough, like recently I was going through my stuff and I found my first ever blog post, which was SZA's Control album. And this was like 2017. Literally wrote it and I just tweeted it. Just like, you know what, let me just tweet it. It was like a little, let me just express myself. Then started to get reception. And I remember one of SZA's band members, I think it was one of the drummers, must have Instagram DM'd me and was like, oh my gosh, we love this. This is my first ever time. I'm thinking, what?
Wow, that's amazing.
Literally, I was like, what's going on here? This is a bit crazy. All right, cool. So I made it more of a consistent thing. Normally every Friday is like a new album, UK and US.
Yes.
So I think, okay, let me time myself. Let me write my first thoughts or what I think about the concept and etc. Go from that and just post it and just let it be. Then went back to uni third year. So I think, okay, let me put my head down. Forget about it. Cool. But one of my friends that passed away called Nana always used to tell me, right, carry on writing. This is good. This, that. I was thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I will. But it's not really like I want to go finish uni, get my master's, get a bank job and just live my life. So after that, when he passed away in 2018, another shot, I'm just like, what the hell is going on now? Cool. Mm-hmm. So I made a promise to myself, okay, let me just talk about music and just see where it goes, but just know that I have to always keep it there. Then one time I must have made a thread on Twitter, my old account, on J-Lo, and that went viral randomly. And I was like, wait, what? Then Joe Budden, everyone knows I'm obsessed with him, like from his podcast. I watch him religiously. So he must have saw it and was like, shout out to Mimi. And I was like, what is going on? Now I'm just thinking, okay, now I feel like I have to do something, but I don't know what exactly. So finished my master's in economics and investment in Brunel. Then from there I was thinking, let me think of something, or let me carry on writing and all of that stuff. Then I started thinking of different concepts in the sense of, because I know what's always coming up in new music, because I always keep on lots of, okay, let me make a list of new music coming out on Friday, release on Fridays, so everyone knows what's going on as well. Or like more time cousins or friends say, oh, what's out, Minnie? Like, because my name is Minnie, by the way. So that what's out, Minnie? Like, I think, you know what, this album's out, this single's out, So I think, you know what, let me make it my own concept of new music Fridays. Every new song's coming out, make a list for you guys and just go off. Or I used to start to go on platforms like Called or different podcasts like the 90s Babies to just talk about music, really tuning debates. Yeah, just different stuff. I feel like I started to do, and like mini challenges. Like last year, I created because I watched music videos non-stop when I was younger with my dad. I always had like a little imaginary thought. I've always wanted to be a director in the sense of making my own music video. So when I hear music, sometimes I always have a little music video in my head. So I made myself have during lockdown especially, I started to learn how to create my own visual concepts. Like what you see on my Instagram, I basically learned it myself. Done that. So I basically asked everyone, okay, everyone give me a song and I'll think of a music video from that. Then they got more reception. I'm thinking, okay. And I feel like what I do is yeah, I'm a music blogger, but because music is so diverse, you can't put yourself in one box. Yeah, I can write. Yeah, I can talk. Yeah, I can create my own concepts. But I feel like that's just the love of music, really and truly.
I think it's interesting that when you were at school, you didn't like English, and now you're writing.
I know.
I mean, how amazing is that? How things turn around.
I know. It's so weird. It's actually so weird because I don't know.
Well, and I suppose because you are writing from the heart, you're coming at a different angle from what other people would be, so that must make your writing more interesting, you know. What did you study at university?
I went to DMU in Leicester. I studied accounting and economics. Mate. What's going on? I feel like maybe I'm watching my future self. Am I talking to my future self? Let me know from now, because clearly.
Okay. I studied in Leicester at the university. Well, there's something else really weird, but I'll tell you afterwards. I won't tell you right now. When did you finish studying up there?
I started from 2015 to 2018.
Okay. Okay. I will tell you later. But that is fascinating. How did you find Leicester, by the way?
I feel like it was a shock for me. And I really haven't told anyone about this because I lived in Edmonton and I've always been around Black people, but at the same time, when I went to primary school, it was very much of a mixture of races and culture. Then when I went to secondary school, it was an all-girls school, so it's like, okay, another exclusive. I'm always around girls now, but it was more Black people, which was fine. Then I stayed in my sixth form, so I went straight to uni. So it was more of mixture of everything all at once. I'm thinking, okay. But at the same time, I feel like I started to learn about myself a bit more, what I like, what I disliked. It was a nice experience, I would say. I feel like it was a big stepping stone for me. Yeah.
Okay. And Leicester's quite a diverse city, isn't it?
Very diverse. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Did you like the town centre?
I feel like I was there 24/7.
Oh, I see. They have a nice market as well, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, child. They do.
Okay. So once you left university, what did you start to do to begin with?
I went straight to my master's.
Oh, did you? Oh, what did you do that in?
I did finance and investment in Brunei.
Oh, wow. Well, you set the groundwork.
Yeah, I feel like I said, okay, everybody.
You set the groundwork for world domination, you know.
Literally. But yeah.
You got to look at so many different angles of, you know, you can make a business out of that area, out of that area. So many different aspects. It was
God's plan, because it feels like, okay, this is my love, but at the same time, I learned a skill so I can really combine the both.
Yeah.
And I feel like people need to understand, yes, it's music, but there's a music business behind it. And you can love music and you can be broke. If you know the business behind it, it can take you far. That's why my favorite person in the scene is Jay-Z, because the way he moves as a businessman is top notch for me, because I feel like there's a game behind this. And I feel like us people need to catch up, especially with the digital game and how streaming is even moving. We need to understand what's going on and how are these artists making money and how are these labels are even trying to adapt what's going on, because even recently with Digger, Gets and Central C, their stream numbers are crazy first week, but they lacked in physical sales in comparison to like the indie bands. And it's like, okay, what does a physical sell weigh than a one stream? But it's like every day we use our phones. We literally use Apple Music, Spotify. That's how we listen to music nowadays. So it's like we should adapt what's going on, but at the same time, that's not what the game is. And I feel like we need to learn as consumers as well.
I wonder if the musician should look at how they market a physical product. Because yes, some people are still buying CDs or hard copy singles or even LPs, and musicians probably need to look at how they can give an incentive if people buy those things, because let's face it, how many people need to listen to or stream a song before they earn 1 penny, you know? So that definitely is an issue.
Big one. Big one.
Okay. So you started basically music blogging when you were still studying?
Yeah, when I was in second year of uni.
And you finished studying now?
Yeah.
Okay, good for you. All right, so you're in the music field. Give me an idea of some of the musicians around you whom you feel that you are a huge fan of and you wish that everybody would listen to their work. Tell me about the ones that are local to you, perhaps in North London.
North London. Specifically, I feel like everyone really listens to him, but I feel like Heady is definitely one of my favorites in drill. He's from Tottenham. And recently I was even listening to his mixtape, Music and Roads, and I was thinking, as an artist, he is so advanced. In the drill scene, I wouldn't even call him a drill rapper anymore. That's how I feel about him. And I don't know, I feel like it's close to home as well. Like living in Edmonton and living in North London, it's like seeing one of your own just hitting certain heights makes you feel proud. Like not even Heady, like even recently seeing the way Tion Wayne is even doing his stuff, it just makes you feel like these are the people that actually had the same upbringing, same culture, are doing what they're doing in the scene. And even recently, I must have made a tweet saying that I one day want to make a documentary about like collective rap crews in North London, but mainly in Tottenham. So from like even BBK to currently like OFB. And I always wanted to do that because when I was young, I always used to watch documentary like Behind the Music on MTV Base and all of that stuff. And I was thinking, okay, I'm watching all these American rappers and their stories and their rap crew and all of that stuff. But what about our own? Like, I want to, in a sense, it's kind of like a love letter back to my community. And also, history repeats itself over again. And as a community, we should document these stuff for the next generation to learn. And I want them to understand, like, this, at the same time, we need to understand, like, right now, this is the best time to tell our stories because it's our stories. It's actually our lives as well. And I feel like it's not just music. And I always tell people rappers are the best storytellers that grace this earth right now in a modern day. They're basically...
If only people would listen. If only people would really listen.
Like, I tell people all the time, like, especially with drill rappers, they are speaking their truth. They're literally speaking their truth or what they've been through or what they're going through or what they've seen. I see it is the best way to look back and see, okay, what is an average teenager going through at the time right now? Go listen to the songs. They're literally telling us right in front of us. I feel like there's no difference of when because I used to study history in A-levels, the way we go back and research, like from the newspaper to what's been out, like I said, the stars, etc. Even, for example, Anne Frank's diary. We literally reading her diary from the beginning to end to understand as what's going on during them times. Music is the best way to actually understand what is a best human's emotions or even their story behind it. That's how I see it.
No, well, that's interesting because it's almost as if you're saying there are loads of young people who are basically singing their own Anne Frank diary. This 100%. Is their life. This is their diary of what's going on. But 100%. Sadly, most people don't want to hear that story, especially when the story is not glossy.
It's not pretty.
Yeah, exactly. It's not pretty. A lot of people don't like to hear what's really going on. And for some, they might assume it's not true. or it's exaggerated. And maybe someone needs to, you know, yourself being in a good position for that, to actually market the fact that these young people are speaking about their lives, they're speaking reality.
Mm-hmm.
And if the reality isn't the type of thing that the government wants to hear, for instance,
Fix it.
what is the government going to do about it?
And with that said as well, I always tell people, with the drill genre, like there's an ugly side, and sometimes I do not agree what people actually do beyond, and actually it affects people's families, and I've seen this before firsthand.
Really?
But what I need people to understand is, like, if the government and media are going so hard at it, we need to look at the government, because this is the reality of what they're basically doing. From the youth clubs, we've seen it open to close. Where are these kids going? To even how black boys are even viewed in the media. Some boys that haven't done nothing been stopped in church just because of how they look like. These are basically things that's underneath this government, and this is the harsh reality of it.
Well, you know what? I had someone say to me the other day that this black man, he said, I've been stopped and searched 50 or 60 times. I couldn't believe it. How many white men are you going to see on the street that have been stopped 50 or 60 times? Once, if they're lucky, in their lifetime.
Exactly.
So this is the reality.
And I feel like it's freedom of speech. They have every right to say what's been going on as well. Fair enough, it's ugly, but that's life.
Yeah, but there is also the issue that some of them have described crimes in their lyrics, and those lyrics have got them into trouble with the police. 100%. I remember seeing another documentary on TV when a police was saying, yeah, we were listening to this group on YouTube and they were describing what they did, and we went and arrested them. And then they said, oh, we didn't do it. But you know, you said you did. You admitted you did in the lyrics, so
that one I always
were charged.
I always say, once you live a certain lifestyle, you have to get ready with the consequences.
Yeah.
And you can't be shocked if you're doing certain stuff and the police are knocking on your door.
Yeah.
Those are it has the glitz and glamour, but it has an ugly side. And if you're stepping out and saying that you're ready to live this life, be prepared to live the consequences.
Because then it's a confession to a beat. And you just assume it's your friends listening, but no, the police have a whole department that's listening too. You know? So there's that angle. That's probably not so glamorous. Now, there are some who have the potential to do quite well. So can you name me some of those that you feel could eventually be another Stormzy, for instance?
Oh, another Stormzy. I feel like there will never be another Stormzy, but another super mega. I feel like Digga D.
Oh, really?
Digga D, 100%. Especially for the kids now, especially. I feel like he doesn't realize how advanced he is, which scares me, because he's been through the whole censorship with the police, and obviously had the documentary BBC 3 explaining his situation. So being put in a box and basically told not to be making music, or you can't say certain stuff, you basically, but at the same time, he overcomes it and still finds another way to describe his situation and still hitting the charts. That alone is very scary. And I always tell people, once he gets to his bag and actually speak about certain traumas and speak about his actual truth without doing a hi, it's a wrap, because his wordplay is really crazy to me.
I watched that documentary. That was really interesting.
Yeah, he is only 20.
Yeah.
Which is he's only 20 years old. He is very advanced for his age. definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
What about female rappers?
There's a new one. Her name is SB. She is so nitty and gritty of how she even projects her voice. Like recently, she dropped a song called Clout. She can go against your favorite rapper. That's how I see it. I wouldn't even, you know how I was like, oh, it's a female rapper. She's just a rapper, plain like period to me. Like she is, yeah, I enjoy her a lot. A lot.
Okay, so has she brought out singles or has she brought out an album?
Yeah, she released a visual called Clout like 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just started off. She basically got recognition by dropping like freestyles on Twitter, and it went viral. Like it's just raw. It's just going back to rap, just speaking truth, but being so honest about it. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, that'll be interesting to listen to. Any other female rappers?
Female rappers to watch. Ooh. I feel like there's a new range of female rappers coming in as well recently. Obviously, you got your IVDs, your Shabos, but like a new, when I say new generation, but a new era in the sense of everyone has their different style and looks different now. And Mixtape's even doing a new platform where it's basically a current female rapper is bringing in a new female rapper that she believes in as well. Mixtape Madness, that one's also good to watch. I feel like people should watch out as well for that one. Yeah, I feel like it's a different range full of female rappers right now.
Okay.
Coming in the scene.
What about singers? Is anybody singing anymore? Is any more R&B or soul coming out?
Yes. One girl called Bella. She dropped an EP last year. Her voice, yeah, is so sweet to me, and she is so, the way she presents herself as well, like she brings the essence of R&B, and I feel like people need to start calling it UK R&B. Just call it R&B. Just call it R&B, I believe, as well. Who else in the UK scene that's doing? Ling Hustle as well. She dropped a visual not too long ago. She brings more flavor into the scene. Like the way she dresses, the way she looks, the way very, very like she's a very much good brand in my opinion as well. Millennia as well. She's a superstar. I think she's a superstar. The way she carries herself as well, and because I know her in a personal as well, the way she works hard is just amazing to see. Seeing her even being a new mom and working, I'm just like, I'm just shocked half the time of how she does certain things. But yeah, like definitely the UK scene, like R&B, they're coming as well. But I feel like people need to just stop calling it UK R&B. Just call it R&B. Just call it R&B. Just call it R&B.
So when you're writing about musicians, do you write about any of the American ones as well?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. I feel that's where it started from. I feel like that's where it just...
Yes.
Literally just started from America. And I think, you know what? There's going to be so many people from America talking about that. Let me talk about what's going on over here. I think that's why it transitioned, and that's why certain things moved a certain pace for me now, because I'm talking about what's going on here more. Yeah, but I still comment about the American scene because it's still music and it's still what's going on with the masses and etc.
Okay. Well, I like the fact that you actually want to do a documentary about Tottenham musicians. I think that'd be really interesting. Have you got your, have you put down the names of the people that you would have take part in this documentary? You need to start planning it from now. Could happen it will just happen this year.
Yeah, it was just a random thought. I was thinking, one day I want to do this, but I never thought when. I was thinking I'm gonna I always imagine myself, I'm gonna retire when I'm 30.
Oh.
Have my baby. That's how I was like, I'm gonna have my babies, and from there I'm gonna do things that I enjoy because I like painting and doing art stuff because I'm
Oh,
very much art. So,
really?
yeah, just do my own
Oh,
painting
wow.
and just learning different skills and obviously researching because I love history. I like even before this I was even watching a documentary about the royal family. Like I just like watching documentaries overall. So I want to do my one. So I was thinking, let me do something that I love, but at the same time it's close to home. North London
Okay.
rappers. Well,
Okay.
just speak about the transition of how the scene was, is, and what's gonna happen in the future as well. Yeah, just and I feel like we've seen a lot of documentary and comments about like South London rappers and how like the debate was at Peckham and how Brixton was like. I think let's talk about my ends and how it was in the 80s and how what was hip hop coming in the UK, how did we twist it and how dance hall played a part in our even our lingo to the 90s and how rap, our rap is becoming more mainstream with grime, etc. Coming to a point of how we're seeing people from our ends and our area becoming megastars as well. To even when drill comes in and seeing how social media plays a part of like how they do previews or freestyles, etc. Even what's going on in North London with the whole riots as well, like how like different things that played a part, but at the same time like a story that transitions well, I guess.
Okay, well, start planning it. Do your treatment, as they say.
Yeah, I need to start.
Absolutely, absolutely. No time like the present. It's interesting that you like art. Have you actually done any art pieces? Have you got some at home?
I stopped drawing for a long time ago, but at the same time, I want to go back into it. Let's relax and because music was kind of like my escape to the world. Now I kind of made it into a little thing. Now I don't really have a place to escape, so I think I'm gonna go to that and start doing drawings, etc.
Well, some interesting things happening in the art world with cryptocurrency. Look up NFT. You might find
I've been trying to research that.
Yeah, you might find some interesting angles for you to get in there.
Ooh.
Music combined with art, animations. Yeah, think about that. Somebody, I saw something on Twitter earlier today. Somebody did this cartoony drawing of 3 figures, and one of them in the middle, I think, was Bill Gates. They sold it for 64,000 as an NFT. You know, something like, you know, a little 10-year-old could probably draw. I'm like, goodness, really?
But my friend,
4,000.
my friend Olivia Taylor, she paints. She does amazing pieces.
Oh, really?
Amazing pieces. I feel like everyone should check her out as well.
Okay.
She does amazing pieces, definitely.
All right. Yeah. We'll check her out. We'll check her out, definitely. Yeah. And we'll add a picture onto this section. Okay. So in terms of the major music stars that are out there, give me your top 3 favorites, whether they're UK or USA or elsewhere.
Of all time.
Who are out now?
Back to the Collective 98s, because they're really like the UK Wu-Tang, like the way they move as a collective. And yeah, like, yeah, defo. Number 2, I will give it to Millions. His flow is crazy to me. His flow is crazy to me. Definitely crazy. Oof. Number 1. I have 2 people right now as my number 1, but I feel like
that's fine. Give 2. Fan, it's fine. Give 2.
2. Okay, cool. Okay. Part 1 on my number 1, I give to Digga D. I love him. Like I love that that guy makes me happy. Like,
wow.
he is just amazing to me. Like, yeah, cool. My part two or my number one, because he's a part of 98s, but I see him as an individual artist, Unknown T. He does not get enough credit. He doesn't get enough credit. Like, the way he contributed to the drill scene, especially, he does not get that much flowers at all. Like, his style and the way he moves, the way he speaks is so unique. You can't make another Unknown T. Literally.
Really?
100%. 100%.
And that's a very interesting name, isn't it? Unknown T. There must be a story behind that. So what about Afrobeats? What are your feelings about Afrobeats? Because they've made huge strides.
Oh, Afrobeats, just Afrobeats.
Afrobeats. What do you think of the music? The stars, they've made huge strides over the last 5 to 7 years or so.
It's the motherland. That's how I see it. It's the mother. I feel like my love for Afrobeats, I feel like it's just the modern day version of African music. That's a whole little spin of it, because I feel like African music has always been there for me, because how I was raised, like Congolese music has always been there for me. So seeing how everyone's trying to give more appreciation and there's flowers, it makes me happy, because in primary school, being African wasn't really as cool. It's always about like bashment and dancehall and all that. So everyone wants to be from the Caribbean, like, so seeing now we can actually play Afro beats at function and everyone's bringing down to it. It's just a beautiful sight, and I feel like even with the Americans are getting into it as well.
Yeah, it's gone mainstream now.
And I feel like it's been overdue, because every single music that you've seen from its beat is from Africa. Like, from jazz, people need to understand that if you look at the history of music, from jazz, rock, gospel, it's all rooted to the motherland, because even for American history of music, obviously the slaves into Africa, and specifically in the New Orleans when they created jazz, etc. It was literally the slaves basically expressing themselves, and it obviously kind of adapts to the new world and the new culture, from different genres, from gospel to like literally it's in the DNA of every single genre. Is from back home, and now we're basically giving, in a sense, flowers to it. I feel like it's been overdue. It's been overdue for a very long time.
So in terms of your writing, where can we see all your previous writing?
I'm gonna create a website again.
Good.
I'm gonna create a website again and put all my old stuff and my new stuff.
That's
so it's easy for everyone as well. But yeah, definitely gonna create a little something.
Absolutely, yeah. You're going to see the history of what you've got, and then maybe some of that material could end up in a book at some point.
Me.
You might end up being the go-to person for Black music in this country. You could end up being the oracle.
That's a big shoes to fill.
Well, let's face it. Who else is doing it right now? What other names can you throw at me who are doing that?
But you know, I'll try to figure out, what am I really doing? Sometimes thinking, okay. And I don't know. I wouldn't really, the music blogger. That's what I'll just say right now. Yeah.
Well done. Somebody's got to blow that trumpet, because that's basically what you're doing. You're like an announcement for all the great music that's out there, and I'm sure the musicians are very grateful to you. And And some of them are probably thinking, oh, if Mimi talks about me, I've nearly made it, you know?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
If it's not like that already, it's going to be like that, I promise you. Because I don't think sometimes that bloggers realize the power that they have, because sometimes bad reviews can actually sink somebody's career.
You know, when it comes to like actually doing reviews, I feel like it's a thing. Sometimes like, if I don't like a song, I can say it, like, I'm not really feeling it, you know. I wouldn't really make a piece. I just do a little tweet. I wouldn't make a whole piece. I feel like that's kind of disrespectful, because at the end of the day, it's still art. It's not for me. It can be for someone else, but it ain't for me.
A blogger with a heart.
I feel like everyone should have hearts.
Yeah, you're right, because there's some critics out there who don't care, you know. They will just pull down something that, you know, you'll find that, for instance, a playwright, he's been spending a year doing the play, you know, the people have been doing the rehearsals, and they come out in the theatre, and then you've got critics who sit down for 2 hours and trash it. And that's just heartbreaking for the people involved. I mean, thankfully, a lot of people don't listen to that kind of thing. I mean, I'm one of those people. If somebody says I don't like a film, it doesn't mean I'm not going to go and see it. I want to know for myself. And sometimes I would have heard bad reviews, but I went to see it and I loved it. So people really should make their own minds up. But some people don't. They take the easy way out and they listen to the reviews. What is this critique saying? What is this blogger saying? What are the newspapers saying? And they don't decide for themselves, you know. But you're in a good position to be able to influence people to at least give musicians a chance. And well done for getting yourself in that position. It can be quite powerful.
Thank you.
So in a way, you've got quite a responsibility, haven't you? Oh, no. I don't mean to make you nervous, but
no, you know, the thing is, it's good to hear this, because I feel like sometimes I don't realize that people see me in that light, if you get what I'm trying to say. Because like when even a couple months ago when I was on Clubhouse and Wiley and everyone else on stage, then when I just got into it, and people like Wiley saying that they know me and love my piece, I said, not Wiley I used to watch as a kid on TV.
Oh, it's lovely. Wow, look at you.
I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. That's crazy to me. Sometimes it's humbling.
Yeah. Speaking of Wiley, do you think he's going to come back with a bang?
The best way I can tell people with Wiley is that we shouldn't look for validation from the media. Remember, he came from us. He's from our culture. So it's only right that we as a culture uplift him and support him, because that's how he started in the first place. Then from that, people will realize Wiley for what he is. Because at the end of the day, he is really the godfather of grime. Like that, and grime is literally a UK sound.
I think that once you get to a particular level, though, you have to be careful what you say.
100%.
You know, and the media love to jump on a racism story. It's sensational for them. So if they find you attacking any particular race, especially Jewish, then it's going to be an issue. Anti-Black, it's also an issue. They just like to jump on it, even if they're actually doing it themselves in a more subtle way. But I think things that Wiley was saying was actually making sense in terms of who controls and earns the most money from an artist that they're working with. And that's a debate we ought to have. From the time Black people started making money in music, from the time you talked about earlier on in history, when Black people were coming up with these new genres, once white people discovered that, okay, these black people are coming out with some amazing things that people want to listen to. They thought, okay, well, how can we make money from their talent?
Mm-hmm.
So they've been doing it ever since, making money from our talent, either by signing us to their labels or offering to do the marketing, promotion, and taking huge percentages. Or they copy the music. That's the other way they make the money. You know, they do a version of our type of songs.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should throw the baby out of the bath water in terms of what Wiley was saying. He was making some good points, but probably not in the best way.
Yeah, it was just the way he articulated himself.
Yeah. So maybe that's something that you could investigate at some point.
You have to ask yourself, are people really willing to have a conversation about this?
Why can't we have a conversation about difficult things and then either agree to disagree or then hug and make up afterwards? You know,
but this,
if you don't talk about it, it becomes censorship and then nothing can change.
It's a system that's always against us, and it's going against a system that can kick you out of it. So it's the lines are so thin. It's an ongoing situation. I just feel like we do need to speak up in a sense of when artists do get violated due to some of the business moves that people do, and how I feel like artists have every right to make money of what they produce.
Yeah.
It's their art and they have every right for this, but
it also comes down to business knowledge, business acumen. Are we reading the contracts we're actually signing? Are we negotiating? Is it that somebody's handing us a paper and, you know, we look at the first page and we can't be bothered with the other 20 pages? Or have we got a lawyer looking over our shoulder? Or do we give the information to a lawyer and say, can you please go through this? Am I going to benefit from this? Or is it that they're going to get 80% and I get 20%? I think the worst situation about this is the story of Sam Cooke. I don't know if you watch a documentary about Sam Cooke. It's so sad how his body of work was basically stolen from him. The point where his own family and descendants cannot benefit from that. It's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy. And the people that stole it, the man who stole it and his descendants, they're the ones that will benefit forever. But it's not fair, it's not right. And are we really so powerless that we can't do anything about it? Maybe the issue is that, do we have enough lawyers who are on our side who will become experts in this area? They can go.
But at the same time, these new artists don't have access to these lawyers. And even recently, I was watching The Crown, and it was one scene that stuck out for me. It was what's the name? Margaret Thatcher. And the Queen. It was during the Commonwealth situation. She has to sign a contract.
Yeah.
But she didn't want to sign it. So they went back to, okay, she doesn't want to sign the contract to the Queen. The Queen's, okay, so what should we do? Some guy must have came into the room and said, okay, it can still mean the same thing, but we have to word it differently. So they're finding several different ways to say something but means exactly what it's supposed to mean, to not to confuse, but in a way to convince them. So I'm thinking, so I can say something like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, okay, for every £1 you give me £2, for example, yeah, you be like, oh, I don't want this. And okay, cool. I'll be like, all right. So then I'll be like, I'll word it different, like every time you get paid, you give me a certain amount. You be like, okay, I'm gonna get paid. Let's give her a cut. That's it. But it still means for every £2, do you know what I'm trying to say? So it confuses people, and I feel like people need to understand that's the music industry. They will show you the glitz and glam, but there's a loophole underneath it. So it's a weird thing because that's contracts. It's not for your game. Just, are you going to be a player in this game? That's how I see it. Do you want to be a part of it? Yes or no? But at the end of the day, they still get their winnings.
Well, I suppose that's also why a number of artists are now doing their thing independently, and some are making money through it.
Okay.
But it's a hard slog.
It's a slow race. It's not a quick. It's not a quick way in because you're making your own money. You literally have to put your own money in. But long run, are you going to gain something? Yes. You have full control. But it goes back to, are you willing to invest in yourself? Do you believe in your music? Do you believe in your art? If so, there's no pressure. Because at the end of the day, I tell people, once you have a following and once you have people that support your music, that support can put on 10 other people. And that's 10 new. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah. But you're gonna reach. It's not because I'm not anti labels. It's like you're gonna reach a point in a career that, okay, you do need a label service because they do provide, like, such as wider mass or marketing or promo. They're like, but you need to know, what are you gaining and what are you losing? Do you gain from this? There's no wrong or right answer of how you want to take your career. Is what do you want? What do you want the world to see your music as?
Yeah. And I'm also quite pleased to see there's quite a number of Black record labels now as well. I mean, we've got the big examples in America with Jay-Z's label and P. Diddy and so on. And I know that there are Black record labels here, although they're probably not so well known. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. But it's great because they're the ones that are pulling in the millions rather than, you know, an umbrella established record label, which is pulling in the millions and giving the artist, you know, a few thousand or a few 100,000. So that's really nice to see. And I'm sure there'll be much more of that over the next 10 years or so. I think there will come a point where, you know, where the Black labels are here and the white labels are there. At some point, they're going to be equal.
That's why I feel like right now, the music industry in the UK scene is basically entering the 90s era of America.
Really?
That's how I see it. Yeah.
Okay, explain.
So because we watch so many, because I feel like I watched so many documentaries about how American rap scene moves. So obviously the 80s came about, then the 90s was kind of like a shift that it was going mainstream with like gangster rap, etc. Then from the mid 90s, that's where you see the Bad Boys, the Death Rows, you see people like Master P coming along with No Limit Records, just a range of Black records coming in. Here it's like we had our establishment of grime, now we're into drill, and we're seeing different groups of artists doing their own thing now. So it's like, okay, now I want to see in the next 2 or 3 years if people want to do their own thing and create their own label, push different artists and create their own cult in the sense that people did in the 90s. Then from there, are we going to see a shift within the UK scene and be taken seriously in a sense? But yeah.
Okay. I think what would be good for us, for Black economics, is to get a list of these Black record labels that are established in the UK, give them some extra promotion, exposure, and let people know that they are a force to be reckoned with. If they're not there yet, they will be very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's interesting that, I think it was a few years ago when Stormzy appeared at Glastonbury, he had a break in his show when he started listing all the grime and rap and drill acts that are coming out from the UK. I'm sure he must have listed about 20 of them, maybe even 30. The names I'd never heard of, some I had heard of. I thought, that's really nice of him to actually call out these people in the middle of your own act, you know? I thought that was fantastic.
Because it's like, the way I saw it as is like, you love me, that means you should love the people that helped me, or people I even feel like they have a presence or a future in this. If you love me, that means you should love my culture behind this.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that was like a checkmate.
Mm-hmm. And those people whose names he called out, they must have been like, oh, Stormzy mentioned me. They must have been so happy.
This is Glastonbury. I feel like this is the festivals of all festivals.
Mm-hmm.
As in, this is a specific genre or a type of group of people that actually goes to these things, and seeing someone of our own doing this, and they know and listen to his music. At the same time, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, that was so rude. Sorry. But at the same time, can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the same time, he was influenced by these people, or the people that are coming up. He believed in them. So it's just a nice meet in the middle, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think the future of the music industry is bright. Certainly even during the pandemic, as we're still going through now, there's been a lot more people listening to music, and people are still putting out music. They're making music, whether it's in their bedrooms or in their studio at home, or, you know, people are still putting out new things. Some people have even had concerts in their living room.
Yeah, the virtual ones on Instagram.
Yeah. It's a shame that we haven't been able to go to events, and musicians have lost out from that because they can't perform, and so therefore they're not earning. So that's been difficult for, I know, many musicians, but you know, we're coming out of it. Hopefully later this year we'll be out of it, and then everybody's gonna have a big party, aren't they, really?
Maybe 2 meters apart, but yeah, I guess so.
Everybody's going to be out, and those musicians have been working hard during lockdown. Their fruits will definitely pay off. You know, hard work always pays off in the end. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing, and we will certainly stay in touch.
100%.
And yeah, let's talk again soon. Take care. Bye, Mimi.
Bye.